If you ever had to buy lunch at an American public school, first off, I'm sorry. Second, you might know what this is. The noble spork, a tool of plasticine simplicity, an invention so obvious it's almost ridiculous that the plastic utensil we all know and love was patented at the same time as email, the mobile phone, and Pong. That's right, the plastic spork, a staple of schools, prisons, and KFCs throughout America, wasn't a trademarked invention until the Van Brode Milling Company called dibs in 1970. Welcome to 5 Cent Docs, where we explore niche topics in 5 minutes or less. Today, we're covering sporks. If you were paying attention, you might have noticed that I was careful to specify that the plastic spork was trademarked in 1970. This is because iterations of spork-like utensils have been around since the mid-16th century. The Sucket Fork, a combined fork and spoon tool, was used in the 1700s to eat preserved fruits called suckets. The fork end of the tool was used to spear the fruit chunks, and the spoon end was used for scooping up the syrup. So, like sporks, Sucket Forks included both fork tines and a spoon bowl. But unlike sporks, these tools were on opposite ends of the handle. Sucket Forks weren't a widely used utensil, probably because of their specialized nature. They'd go on to be almost entirely retired from use by the close of the 18th century. The 19th century brought about Runcible Spoons. Runcible Spoons were named after a line in Edward Lear's nonsense poem, The Owl and the Pussycat, and were used primarily in ice cream shops. In 1940, Australian inventor William MacArthur invented the Splayds. The Splayds was a tool that combined a spoon, fork, and knife. The Splayds was introduced in MacArthur's wife's Sydney Cafe, entering mass production in the 1960s and eventually going on to become a popular utensil in the land down under for occasions like buffets and barbecues. Which brings us to the modern plastic spork. In 1970, the name spork was trademarked by the Van Brode Milling Company, and in 1975, a European trademark of the same name held by Plastico Ltd. Was also established. Sporks aren't the only silverware love children. There are also Splayds, which we mentioned, Nunes, Spifes, and Norks. Yet, sporks have become a staple of modern society in a way the other utensils haven't. Why is that? Well, if I had to guess, it's probably because out of all the utensil combos, sporks are the most practical. In the 21st century, the only place where you'd be hard-pressed to find a spork is at a sit-down restaurant or a fancy affair. Sporks are practically standard in schools, prisons, airplanes, and even certain fast food restaurants. There are two core reasons for this. One, sporks are cheap. Instead of paying separate manufacturing costs for spoons and forks, the materials can be combined into one tool. Another reason is safety. The shallow prongs of a spork are much less of a threat than those of a fork. Although, in 2008, a man in Alaska did try to commit armed robbery with a spork. KFC is a fast food chain notorious for using sporks. Unlike most fast food meals, which can be eaten without any utensils at all, KFC dinners usually come with sides like mashed potatoes and mac and cheese. So, KFC adopted sporks as their solution. KFC's patronage of sporks is such a well-known aspect of the restaurant that in June of 2022, KFC unveiled the Finger Spork, a reboot of their 1970s gimmick utensil of the same name. Yet, despite being such a common utensil, sporks kind of get a bad reputation. Spork.org, a website dedicated to, you guessed it, sporks, got philosophical when they said, quote, "A spork is a metaphor for human existence. It tries to function both as a spoon and a fork, and because of this dual nature, it fails miserably at both. You cannot have soup with a spork, it is far too shallow. You cannot eat meat with a spork, the prongs are too small." And they're right about the design failure thing, not necessarily the human existence part. In any case, public consensus is usually that sporks are ineffective, unpleasant, and kind of lame. Which is why it's so funny when brands like Kabar make things like tactical sporks, which conceal a knife in the handle and feature a slick military-esque aesthetic. But every dog has its day, and on March 15th, 1995, sporks got theirs when they received a call-out by the 42nd President of the United States, Bill Clinton.
This is the symbol of my administration. This is a cross between a spoon and a fork. No more false choice between the left utensil and the right utensil. This is a choice in the middle and a choice for the future. This is a big new idea, the spork.
Thank you for watching this 5 Cent Doc. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. And if you want to see more documentaries on niche topics just like this one, click subscribe and don't forget to ring that bell. When's the last time you used a spork? Let us know in the comments below.